would like to invite our third participant, also a discussant, Cash.
Good afternoon. I'm kind of a low talker, so I better stand closer to the mic. It's an honor to be on Musqueam's territory. It's an honor to be in this longhouse and present with you here today. My name's Peter Pade. It's a ceremonial name that was gifted to me, Flying Eagle, and that's why I find this place so fascinating. There's all the eagles, you just look out your window and they're kind of giving a good sign of things. My name is Ahenakew, and I'm working in the Department of Educational Studies. My family comes from Ahenakew, Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, and again, it's an honor to be here today. And I'm not quite sure what my role is here today. I think it might be kind of a raven trickster role, because I asked Hando if it would be okay if I could do a presentation instead of being a discussant. And so one of our colleagues, Leslie, isn't here today, so I'm kind of filling both roles. And to change the conversation a bit, like alliances and relationships are the utmost important to Indigenous people. And that's well known. But today I'm kind of responding in some ways to the topic today with some research me and my partner does, Vanessa Andriati, and we work in this area of theoretical development, and how does that blend with Indigenous knowledge is the question. So I'm going to read today because there's kind of some complicated concepts and theoretical perspectives. So the one I'm speaking from is from our theorizing Indigenous knowledge and colonial relationships in research in the academy. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. For the young people in I Don't Know More, the spirit behind that movement, I think it's fair to say everybody is very proud of your strong spirit now. For us to talk about partnerships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, we need to talk about politics and ethics. And for us to talk about politics and ethics within the historical context of colonialism, we need to start with the impact of colonialism. Let's see if I can work this now. Okay, I don't think that worked. How do you change this? Okay. I forgot to mention the topic for talk.
You just go like this all the time.
Just down
the next one, yeah.
Okay. So Latin American sociologists use the concept of coloniality to talk about the enduring effects of colonism. Here are some useful definitions of this concept, and this is Mignola. Coloniality is both the basis of colonization and its enduring effect. So coloniality is an unequal relationship of power, knowledge, racialized bodies, worth, and resource reproduced in the name of development and technological and financial advancement. So coloniality involves the exclusion and denial of spatiality, epistemic racism, and the geopolitics of knowledge production in Eurocentric accounts of modernity. So colonism may or may not have ended, but coloniality is enduring, especially in the politics of knowledge production in the academy. So, and here are some thoughts about the politics of knowledge production. Between those who have been historically represented as possessing only local values, traditions, and beliefs, and those who are perceived as to possess knowledge of universal value, there is no level playing field. Scholars and educators working with Indigenous ways of knowing are called to translate these into the dominant language, logic, technology in ways that are intelligible and coherent, and interpreters in the dominant culture. So, how do we account for coloniality of knowing and being in the body geopolitical economy of academic knowledge production? So if knowledge produces realities and also academic careers, where does that leave us in terms of ethics of partnerships? In relation to ethics of partnerships, the question we would like to put on the table is, how do we move beyond typical historical patterns of representation and engagements that reproduce hegemony, ethnocentrism, ahistoricism, depoliticalization? I have a difficult time with that one. Salvationism, uncomplicated solutions, patriarchalism, and as you can see, the acronym is HEADS UP. Okay, so moving beyond these historical patterns may be a step towards a more ethical relationships. In some sense, I would like to offer some possible horizons. We believe these are the ways forward in the debate about more ethical partnerships that can challenge the politics of knowledge production in the academy. The starting point is understand the justified suspicion of Indigenous people. And I'll play a song at the end of this that emerges from an activist in the States. And it's called Here Comes Anthros, but that could be applied to me also. A more sophisticated discussion of the politics of identity, including deficit theorization and misappropriation, and the context where these emerge. And 3, leveling of the academic field, allies supporting Indigenous scholars in the steering wheel, co-authorship supporting claims to ownership, inspiring work like Jones and Jenkins on the hyphen partnerships. And I'll briefly go into that in the next slides, what exactly that is. So in relationship to Jones and Jenkins, work I have selected a passage of their text to illustrate possible ways forward to conclude my argument, or our argument. And this is a representation of the indigene colonized hyphen, and I've used some quotes from their work. And that hyphen there can mean a lot of different things in their thing, but here it represents a positive site for productive methodological work. And in some sense, what I'm saying is this relationship is embedded because of the historical context within our relationship, and it's an easy way to visualize what that is. So to those colonizer researchers who would dissolve, consume, soften, erase the indigene colonized hyphen into a sharing collaborative engagement between us, there is one harshly pragmatic response: it does not work. And so the indigene colonized hyphen, and this is the second quote, Indigenous peoples and others who resist their disappearance into Western stories about us either remain focused elsewhere or echo the words of Tonto, the Lone Ranger's faithful Indian companion. What do you mean, we white man? However hurtful, perplexing, and frustrating and disappointing this response may be, colonizers' interest in the joint work with Indigenous subjects, as Indigenous subjects, have little choice but to work with the sharp, shocking difference named by Tonto, and many others such as Mohanty, rather than deny, ignore, or condemn it, or wish it away. So there's a couple more quotes. In other words, however much the Lone Ranger and the other colonized peoples assert the us in the shared modern life, Indigenous people, as a matter of political, practical, and identity survival as Indigenous people, insist on a profound difference at the self-other border. The hyphen is non-negotiable. Indeed, the indigenous colonizer research and teaching work, the hyphen, is to be protected and asserted, and is a positive site of productive methodological work, which creates occasions for discussion of whose story is being told and whose story is being shadowed. And so that ends this part. I'd just like to show a short video from, I believe it's the 60s or 70s, and it kind of represents, metaphorically, an activist kind of stance towards colonization in general. And it's by a musician, actor, and activist. And here comes anthro, could apply to not just anthropology anywhere, and not just Indigenous people. So I hope it's not too loud. We'll have to see. So I think you can see the dilemma with this. There's different perspectives on how to understand the research position. And this perspective, if you consider multiple perspectives and epistemological pluralism, this view has just as much worth and truth as our scientific constructions, our social scientific constructions here. So that's why when I was thinking how to speak on this topic today. And all of a sudden we found this video on Here Comes Anthros. And it's a struggle I have within me, being as farther removed from the holistic worldview through my years spent in these institutions and how that's altered me. So from the perspective of a lot of people in my community, I'm actually, I feel like I'm highly educated and in better health, but from their perspective, I'm actually farther removed from the holistic worldview. I suffer from colonial consciousness or something. I believe I'm better off, but I'm farther removed. So it's this kind of different type of consciousness that people have to work towards understanding if you're going to work with Indigenous peoples in their communities. And so, and this song just kind of presents that perspective in about 3 minutes. That's why I enjoyed it so much. And thank you for listening today.